Did you know the key to preventing food allergies in kids might be to give them the very foods you're afraid of? I know, it sounds completely counterintuitive. For a long time, parents were told to avoid feeding babies things like peanuts, eggs, or dairy, thinking it would help protect them from developing allergies. But the latest research has flipped that advice on its head. The truth is, introducing these foods early and doing it in the right way can actually help reduce the risk of food allergies. And that's not just a theory, it's backed by science. Let's take it one step at a time. First, let's talk about where this advice even comes from. For years, pediatricians and experts recommended keeping babies away from foods that are common allergens. The idea was simple: no exposure, no chance of an allergic reaction. But as food allergy rates kept climbing, especially for things like peanuts and tree nuts, researchers started to ask some big questions. Was avoiding these foods actually making allergies worse? Was there a better way to prevent them in the first place? Then came a groundbreaking study called the LEAP trial. LEAP stands for Learning Early About Peanut Allergy. And it completely changed the game. Some of the babies in this study were given peanut products, while others avoided peanuts altogether. The results? The babies who were introduced to peanuts early were far less likely to develop a peanut allergy. In fact, their risk dropped by as much as 80%. That's huge. But the key to all of this is introducing these foods safely and gradually. This isn't about throwing a bunch of allergens at your baby and hoping for the best. It's about starting small, taking it slow, and being mindful of your baby's unique needs. With that said, let's talk about 10 foods to prevent food allergies in your children. Food 1. Let's start with peanuts, since they're usually the biggest worry for parents. First things first, we're not talking about whole peanuts or chunky peanut butter. Those are choking hazards for babies, and they're not safe. What you want is smooth peanut butter, and you're going to mix just a tiny bit of it into something your baby already eats, like mashed banana, applesauce, or baby cereal. Start with about a quarter teaspoon and see how they do. If there's no reaction, you can gradually increase the amount over time. The goal isn't to make peanuts a big part of their diet right away. It's just to get their immune system familiar with it. If your baby has severe eczema or a family history of allergies, you'll want to talk to your pediatrician before introducing peanuts or any other allergenic foods. In some cases, they might recommend testing or introducing these foods in a controlled environment, like an allergist's office. Safety always comes first. That goes for all of the foods on this list. Food 2. Now let's move on to eggs, another common allergen. For years, people thought you should avoid giving babies eggs, especially the whites, because they're more likely to cause reactions. But now we know that introducing eggs early can actually help reduce the risk of an allergy. The key is to cook the eggs thoroughly. Scrambled eggs are a great option because they're soft, easy to eat, and you can control the texture. Start with a small amount, maybe a teaspoon or so, and see how your baby does. Over time, you can make eggs a regular part of their diet. If your baby doesn't love them right away, don't stress. You can mix eggs into other foods, like mashed avocado or veggies, to make them more appealing. Food 3. Let's talk about yogurt next, because it's usually a parent's favorite way to introduce dairy. Whole milk isn't recommended for babies under 1 year, but yogurt is different. It's easier to digest, and it's packed with probiotics that can help support your baby's gut health. Gut health is a big deal when it comes to allergies, because a healthy gut can help regulate the immune system. Start with plain full-fat yogurt. None of the sugary stuff marketed for kids. You can mix in mashed fruit for flavor, or just serve it plain. Babies usually love the creamy texture, and it's a gentle way to introduce dairy. Food 4. Tree nuts, like almonds, cashews, and walnuts, are another big one. The key here is to avoid whole nuts, which are a choking hazard, and focus on nut butters or finely ground nuts. Smooth almond butter, for example, can be mixed into oatmeal or a puree. Again, start with a small amount and watch for any reactions. Tree nuts are a little more intimidating for some parents, but they're just as important to introduce early. Food 5. Fish is another food that doesn't always get the attention it deserves. Fatty fish like salmon and mackerel are great for babies because they're rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which support brain development. Cook the fish until it's soft and flaky. Then mash it up or mix it with something familiar, like mashed sweet potato or avocado. If fish feels intimidating, start with a small amount and build from there. Food 6. Now let's talk about wheat. Gluten gets a lot of attention these days, but for most babies, it's not something to avoid. In fact, introducing wheat early can lower the risk of a wheat allergy. Start with simple options like baby cereals made from wheat, and mix them with breast milk, formula, or water to create a smooth texture. As your baby gets older, you can introduce soft whole grain bread or pancakes made with wheat flour. Food 7. Sesame is a food that's becoming a more common allergen, and it's worth introducing early too. Tahini, which is a paste made from sesame seeds, is an easy way to do this. You can mix a tiny amount into yogurt or spread it thinly on soft bread. Food 8. Let's not forget about soy. Tofu is a fantastic option for introducing soy to your baby. It's soft, easy to mash, and blends well with other foods. You can serve it plain or mix it with veggies or fruits. It's also a great source of protein and iron, so it's a win-win. Food 9. Let's talk about shellfish. I know, this one can feel a bit out there. Shellfish are one of the top food allergens for adults, so introducing them to a baby might sound risky. But here's the thing. Early exposure can really help reduce the chances of your baby developing a shellfish allergy later on. Foods like shrimp and crab are also full of good stuff like zinc and iodine, which support growth and a healthy immune system. The key is to keep it simple. Start with fully cooked shrimp or crab meat, no fancy seasoning, just plain, and mash or chop it super finely. Shellfish might seem like a wild card, but it's really just another step toward helping your baby build up their tolerance and enjoy a wider variety of foods. Food 10. The final food type is legumes, things like lentils and black beans. These are such an easy win because they're not just gentle on your baby's tummy. They're also packed with protein, fiber, and iron. Lentils are a great place to start because they cook down super soft. You can blend them with a veggie your baby already likes, like carrots or sweet potatoes, for a smooth, creamy puree. Remember, you don't have to introduce all these foods at once. Take it one step at a time. Pick one food, offer it for a few days, and see how your baby does before moving on to the next. This approach not only makes it easier for you, but also helps you spot any potential reactions. Most babies tolerate these foods just fine, but if you notice symptoms like hives, vomiting, or swelling, stop and contact your pediatrician. At the end of the day, introducing allergenic foods early isn't about making things harder for you as a parent. It's about giving your baby the best chance at a life free from food allergies. Start small, go at your own pace, and don't hesitate to ask for help if you need it. What are some foods that you've already introduced to your children, or that you're planning to? Let me know in the comments. And if you found this helpful, make sure to like and subscribe for more videos like this.